Both Palantir and Tesla have been on epic runs this summer. It has really given many of us an entire year's worth of gains in a very short period of time. But the question we have to answer is, are those moves justified? And more importantly, are they overvalued and doomed to fall back down? Or is Tesla and Palantir undervalued and we are just getting started and a huge bullish move is coming, driving those stock prices up? So let's discuss all that today and get you guys real answers, not hype. Just make sure you like the video if you like getting the truth without the hype, because that's exactly what you're going to get on this channel. So at least make sure you like the video, because there's going to be a lot of people that don't necessarily like everything that I have to say. But if you really pay attention, you'll see exactly what I'm talking about and it'll make a lot of sense. So what I kind of did was I kind of took everything that we're going to discuss today. I kind of broke it down into 3 points. We'll discuss both stocks within those points, and then I'll kind of give you what the actual truth is about valuation and where I see these stocks ending up by the end of the year. So number one, are these actually big moves? So let's kind of look at, are these actually big moves or not in regards to the stock price? Because sometimes you can have a huge, basically leg up in a stock and have it still not necessarily be a huge move up. So let's kind of look at these a little bit closer now. We'll do Palantir first. When I look at Palantir, my last buy on it was about $20 or so, $20 and some change. And in just over a month, we are up 35% on those buys. So that to me right there is an incredible return in just over a month in a stock. I mean, imagine if you could get 35% every month in regards to stocks going up. Man, you would be rich really, really, really fast. Now, I know there's some folks out there claiming they can get you 35% every month. Yeah, whatever. Just ignore that sort of stuff, guys. If that was true, we'd have trillionaire investors out there, but we don't have trillionaire investors. So that's clearly not true and clearly not something that's sustainable. So I'm not worried about any of that talk out there. But guess what? It gets even better, guys. My last buys in Tesla were at 141 just under 3 months ago. So that is a 74% gain in just under 3 months in a stock. Again, another incredible return on a stock in a very, very short period of time. That is actually multi-year gains in a stock in just under 3 months. That's exactly what we got right there with Tesla with those buys. So when I'm looking at this, I would say yes, both of these stocks have had big moves respectively. Obviously, one 35% or so in just under a month, and the other one 74% in just under 3 months there. Those are big moves in a stock, and we're talking about big moves in great stocks here, guys. We're not talking about trash companies, trash penny stocks, where they go up and down and pump and dump and all those other games like that. We're getting these in great long-term buy and hold stocks. So yes, this is big moves in both these stocks. There's no doubt about it, but that's not what actually matters, guys. What actually matters is the why behind those big moves. We have to uncover the why we had those big moves in the stock to actually see if these moves are justified or not. We have to get to the bottom of that answer. But let me know, guys, did you guys catch Tesla at 141 or so, right there in the 140 range, and Palantir in that bottom $20 range? Well, many of our members in our group saw those buys in real time for me, and today is the last day for one of the biggest discounts ever for my group, so don't miss out. I've already extended it once. I'm not going to do it again there, guys, where you get to see all those buy and sell alerts in real time. You get to see my complete watch list with price targets. You could ask me about exactly why I'm buying and exactly what my thinking is and my strategy behind that. You can ask all that there within the group. You get to take 5 courses for free, be a part of your free coaching. Grab that. Use our stock analyzer tool for free. Be a part of the best 6, 7, and 8-figure Discord out there. Guys, there is so much going on in the group. There's so much included in the group. I can't even talk about all of it here. Just check out the pinned comment down there. See everything that you get with a membership and see if a membership's right for you. Make sure you take advantage of the sale before it expires today. All right, so number 2, fundamental move or hype move. So what caused this massive move in Palantir? I mean, when I kind of look at it, there's been a lot of contracts added, but that's nothing new. They've been knocking that out of the park for at least this entire fiscal year. Obviously, last year they were doing very well, and you saw all these contracts accelerating and being more and more announced. So to me, not really anything new there. Now, sure, there's been actually more positive articles about Palantir. You've seen more people going on CNBC talking about Palantir in a positive light. We've been seeing that for a while now, actually. Actually, we talked about right here on this channel whenever that narrative kind of flipped from extremely kind of bearish and negative to extremely positive. We identified that months ago, well before this run started. So that's, again, not necessarily something that's driving this particular move in the stock. There was no new guidance, no real fundamental change in the business at all. There was, nothing announced in regards to growth rates or EPS or margins or anything else like that. There was really no tangible reason or change in anything at this stage. So, we kind of didn't see a whole lot there with Palantir. let's take a look at Tesla. See, maybe something's different there. So we had some good delivery numbers there. I agree, but they're still down year over year. There was nothing crazy about it. There's nothing that made me think that EPS is going to change in the short term, or there was, a major fundamental shift in the business or anything else like that in regards to Tesla. And we all know EPS has been what's hurting Tesla, and there's been no indications yet that there's anything in the short term that's going to turn that EPS number around. So again, when EPS is kind of what's driving lower valuations, lower everything else in your stock, you'd expect something to change with that EPS number in order to kind of get the stock price moving in the opposite direction there. But there just hasn't been anything that changes the EPS number. And yes, guys, I did not forget about the huge growth in energy there, but you got to look at, not treat it the same as the cars and everything else. What percent of revenue does that make up? And the reality is, it's not a whole heck of a lot. I mean, until energy is 30-40% of earnings or so, it's not really going to have a huge tangible impact to that EPS number. Is it going to help some? Absolutely it is. But it's not going to drive us to an EPS level where all of a sudden it justifies a valuation reset on Tesla. It just isn't to that scale yet. Now, maybe one day it will be. Obviously, I think we're all banking on it getting there, but we are years away from that stage where it's not like it's coming next quarter. So yes, it is exciting, but in order to tell me that's what's driving this run, you're telling me that somehow energy storage, which is a very small part of the business for now, is all of a sudden going to drive a 30% run in under a month in a stock and a 74% run in a stock in under 3 months. That to me just doesn't really drive with reality. I'm sorry, I know that upsets some of you guys, but I'm trying to give you guys the most objective opinion that I can about this. And for me, both of these runs are basically hype runs at this stage. Now, I'm not talking crazy 2021 hype runs, so don't even put those two in the same category there. But in regards to this current run, it is a hype run. However, and this is a big however, guys, you have to understand this. Sometimes a hype run is justified, especially if the stock is undervalued. If the valuation shows that a stock is significantly undervalued whenever a hype run starts, it makes perfect sense as to why that's the reason why the run is happening. Not because of news here or this over there, or this contract here or this contract there, but because it's significantly undervalued and people are finally starting to come around and put money into an undervalued asset. So let's discuss valuation next, because that right there determines if this is a hype run based upon the stock being undervalued. Basically, it's more valuation driven, or is this simply a speculative hype run where it's not based on valuation at all? So number 3 is valuation. All right, so let's discuss valuation first, and then I'll tell you exactly where I think both these stocks end up at the end of the year from a valuation perspective, where I would put fair value at the end of the year for these stocks. In regards to Palantir, for me, it is overvalued right now, and I would not be surprised that even if we traded flat for the rest of the year, to me, it would still be a little bit overvalued, in my opinion, of course, unless we get some sort of earnings surprise in regards to that EPS number being higher than what we expect and more higher. And I mean a lot higher, kind of like an NVIDIA kind of beat in regards to that EPS number being a lot higher than what Alex has guided to towards the end of the year here. So unless we get a significant beat on Alex guidance here, right now we're sitting at a little bit overvalued, a little bit rich, and it would be rich, in my opinion, through the end of the year. Now, that doesn't mean it's a bad buy or it's not going to go up anywhere or anything else like that. It's just part of what happens whenever a stock goes on a really good run and it gets itself a little bit overheated from a valuation perspective. That's where it sits at right now. And if it continued to just stay flat and didn't retrace some back down to more of a fair value number, to me, it would still be overvalued even at the end of the year. Again, barring something changing on earnings, something tangible, not guesses, not hope, not a pretty spreadsheet, something tangible on earnings that comes out. Either Alex changes guidance, EPS is better than expected, he adjusts guidance higher in regards to EPS, something like that, or a significant beat on EPS in regards to the earnings over the next couple of earnings calls here. All right, so let's look at Tesla next. And at this stage, guys, I'm sorry, at its current price, it is overvalued. And you want to argue with me? That's okay, but I'm looking at the forward multiple right now, and it is well over 100 for this stock. And I'm sorry, it is, especially for a large cap stock like this, trading at a multiple of over 100 is overvalued in any world. I'm sure there's people out there that'll tell you that's extremely cheap for Tesla, and they throw out their 45 things that are all speculative as to why it's a cheap price to pay for Tesla. But right now, based upon guidance and based upon earnings, we are sitting rich in regards to Tesla stock. We are overvalued. But hey, there's a caveat to that with Tesla, a big caveat, and that is that Tesla's financials can flip pretty fast. And what I mean by that, guys, is if they are able to solve the EPS problems and get back to the margins that they were having prior to last year around this time, where they started kind of hinting that, hey, margins are going to go down. We have to start, basically lowering the price of the cars. A lot of other things like that that are happening, which could quickly take Tesla, if those margins improve significantly, from undervalued or from overvalued to undervalued really, really quick. That flip kind of happens with Tesla a lot. And this is why it is so important to buy when there is opportunity, especially in stocks like Palantir and especially Tesla, where things tend to move very rapidly. It has happened before, it will happen again. And taking advantage when you get a discount, not hesitating, not waiting for a better price, doing the work up front. So whenever a spot hits where you can add a stock at a great price, you go right on ahead and do it, because whenever the stock price flips and it decides to go the other way, especially with Tesla, it just moves fast. Regardless of whether it's hype, regardless of whether it's earnings driven, it's going to move quickly to that upside. So you have to be prepared, ready, and pull that trigger, because Tesla can quickly run away from you, and you're going to be overpaying for Tesla for a significant period of time before you get a chance to pay for it at undervalued again. That time frame can be months. In some cases, it can be years, depending upon the time frame that we're looking at here in regards to Tesla stock. So when you get those opportunities, you got to take them, because these hype runs can last a long time. And I'm not saying that the hype runs are done in regards to these stocks. Not that they can't move higher. I'm not saying that at all. Sitting around trying to guess short-term movements of a stock, especially a stock like Tesla and Palantir, is absolutely useless. Nobody can do it with any degree of accuracy. But what I can do is I can do a valuation and see exactly whether the stock is overvalued or undervalued, and let that dictate my buying decisions in real time, not waiting until I have confirmation of this, or until my favorite YouTuber says that, or until, I don't know, Adam Koo comes out and puts out a good video being bullish on Tesla, or whatever the case is. Waiting until all the charts line up perfectly for it to make this move or that move, or whatever the case is. None of those things are nearly as accurate of a guide as valuation is. Because when you do that, I'm not trying to guess once it starts running, is this hype run justified or not? Should I buy the stock or not? I've already bought the stock, and when Tesla does go on a hype run, I don't have that same question everybody else has to have of, should I buy it here? Should I buy it at this level? Should I buy it at this level? I've already bought. I can just kick my feet up and relax. And those of you guys out there that are executing the same exact strategy, I know a lot of our group members are, you just get to kick back and kind of enjoy yourself and enjoy all the green that's in your portfolio there, because you bought when the fear was high, when it was red everywhere, and everybody's saying you're catching a falling knife, and all those other little things like that that people tell themselves, where they actually talk themselves out of buying a great stock at a great price, because they're busy thinking about what's my gain going to be in the next month, instead of looking out 3 months and going, oh wow, if it goes on a run, I could be up a lot in a very short period of time. So in regards to valuation, by the end of the year, I still see Palantir at that mid $20, 25, 26, right up in there, 24, wherever the case is, right up in there. That's where I see Palantir by the end of the year, based upon valuation, where I put it. Yes, mine's a little bit more conservative than a lot of other people's are. That's okay. That's where I see it based upon valuation. Now, could it be above that or below that? Of course. You guys know exactly what I would do in that situation if that's exactly where it ends up landing. But Palantir is pretty easy to look out and see, based upon how Alex does things, based upon the guidance he's given and what he's guided to this year. It's pretty easy to extrapolate out the numbers and get a price towards the end of the year. And that's exactly where I have it falling out at. And I've had it that way since the beginning of the year. Now, Tesla, on the other hand, is a completely different story and a lot more nuanced than Palantir is, at least this time around. There's been times in Palantir's past where it was very, very nuanced. But in relation to this year, it's very much, we talked about it at the beginning of the year, it's going to be herky-jerky. High highs, low lows, and we've seen exactly that so far. So if by the end of the year here, guys, if we see in the next couple of earnings calls, not only the bottoming of margins, but margins starting to improve, and I'm not talking about, hey, margins went up 0.5% or something. I'm talking significant improvement in the margins. I don't think $300 by the end of the year being an extremely overvalued territory is out of the question there. So somewhere closer to the 300 range is where I would see it at that stage. Now, if margins do not improve, they continue to stay flat, or they're just making incremental, very small incremental changes in that, then I definitely think we're trading closer down to that $200 level in regards to, trying to figure out where fair value is. That's exactly where it would be at. Now, again, the problem is, and the problem with doing this with Tesla is that margin means a lot. And a 2 or 3% change in that margin, either up or down, gives me a very, very different price in regards to where EPS is going to lie. And that ultimately is how you're going to determine valuation with this stock. And right now, there's no way to really know where that number is going to fall out and how much improvement they're going to be able to make on those margins by the end of the year. Obviously, I said from the start, I think we're going to see that by the end of the year. We're going to see significant improvement in those margins, but nothing is guaranteed. And more importantly, Elon has not given us any direct guidance as to what he sees those margins improving to by the end of the year. So we're all strictly guessing here. And that's why I have to give kind of such a broad range here, as opposed to with Palantir, I don't have to give a broad range because Alex has already given us specific guidance to that number by the end of the year. Elon kind of gave us guidance, but with a whole lot of caveats here. So I have to kind of caveat my answer as well. And if you want to see all my buys like we did here with Tesla and Palantir, and you want to learn how to do valuation so you can determine your own price targets for Tesla and Palantir, see my complete watch list with price targets. Don't forget, one of the biggest discounts ever from my group is ending today, and you got to take advantage of it, guys. Make sure you check out the pinned comment down there where you get all that. You get 5 courses for free. You get the free coaching. You get to use the stock analyzer tool for free. Be a part of the best 6, 7, and 8-figure Discord out there. We have so many events for the group. We have so many things going on there in the group. Make sure you check out the pinned comment down there and see if a membership's right for you. And click this video here if you want to see exactly what I'm buying in this market. And click here to see my exact plan for this market. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.